I got the JASION EB7 behind me. Let's check it out. All right, now that you guys have got a better high quality look at the bike, I want to come in here and show you guys some stuff real close up. But before I even do that, I want to let you guys know that this bike is actually smaller than a lot of these bikes that I have in the garage. It's actually even smaller than the Engwe bike we have over there. It does not rock the standard 4-inch wide tires. It is a fat bike tire, but it is 3 inches wide. Super nice though. I actually got it out of the box and I was kind of surprised, but I mean, it handles pretty nice. You have a 500 watt motor back here. This is a 48 volt system. Super nice. You got suspension in the rear. You have a seat up here. It's okay. It looks kind of small. I felt it. It feels nice. You got an air vent right down in here too, but we'll just see when we get on the road on how that feels. Coming in here, if you guys are not familiar with foldable bikes, basically the batteries run in here. And this is a 10 amp hour battery. And then if you ever had to get to the controller normally sits right here. All you basically have to do is fold this bike. It's on the other side. And then you can literally take this battery out. You can bring it into your house and you can charge the battery separately if you want. And then the keys normally sit down here. This is how you turn the bike on and off. When you first get it, it's a little weird, but pretty simple to access. It's just right there. Coming up here, you have your charging port. It's a 3-prong, so be careful. Don't just try to jam it in there. It's not like some of the other e-bike chargers where it's just a complete circle with a pin in the middle. You do have to kind of twist this around and then feel when it pops in and it will slide right in easy. You do not want to break that, so just keep that in mind. Coming over here, we got front suspension. You got your preload adjustment if you want to adjust this however you want, soften or harden it. And then if you come over to this side, you have the lockout switch if you're on a straight, solid road and you do not want it to activate the suspension. It's kind of nice. You got a headlight on the front. It's nice that they give you some safety features on this, but I do not know how good the headlight is yet, but it does have a cool little switch up top, which I'll show you right now. The headlight has a dedicated button, which you can probably hear that. It's pretty cool because it actually activates even if the bike is completely off. So we do not have the screen on, but we do have the battery activated with the key. And if you do come over here, you're gonna see that the headlight is on. So it is a cool feature if you wanna light something up without actually having the bike on. If you're working on something, you can kind of help your buddy out by having that light on. I thought that was a pretty cool feature. The button does feel a little mushy though. It kind of feels like if you guys are used to owning an Onyx RCR over here, the stock button, over time it kind of gives out and people have had issues with them. The good thing is this is not the button to turn the bike on and off, so if this does go out, it's not the end of the world. But hopefully it doesn't go out. It just feels kind of like soft and sticky. Under here on the same layout, you do have your horn. The horn does sound very good. I think people are gonna hear you on the trails with that. It's not the loudest horn I've ever had, but it's not the quietest horn. I'll take this all day over a bell. Coming to the grips, I'm not a fan of them. There's really no grip at all whatsoever. It literally just feels like a hard piece of plastic. So I'm not a big fan of those. I would definitely be changing those out if I was someone that bought this bike and I'm planning on riding it every day. It will work. It's just, you know, I'd rather have a little bit more grip in my hands. And then you have your standard mechanical brakes right here. Nothing special about them. I mean, the bike is under $1,000. You can't really complain. They're gonna do the job. This bike is very, very light, so it is gonna stop this bike. I've already ridden it up and down the street and I didn't have any problems with it. Coming on to this side, you have a Shimano 7-speed and you can adjust it however you want, depending on how you like riding and pedaling. Coming over here, you have a half throttle. Now I will say, I like this half throttle, and the reason why I like this half throttle is because look, it's not bigger than the rest of the grip. Normally half throttles are a lot bigger and your wrist starts hurting like right here. So I like that fact that it's like literally the same size of this. So this felt very comfortable going up and down the street. Coming over to the display, let's turn it on. Comes up, tells you the temperature down there. That is not an error code. I actually reached out to the company. I thought it was an error code, but it's not. And basically now it comes on and it's ready to go. We're at 100%, 0 speed. This is how you change up and down your pedal assist mode. And this will tell you the miles that you have traveled altogether on the bike. Coming to this side really quick, we got a Shimano derailleur over here. You got your foldable pedals right here, the easiest things ever. You have a huge chain ring right here, so that's gonna help making the bike feel natural to kind of pedal. And I'm sure you guys noticed, but we do not have a bike rack back here. But I do believe you can attach one because they have bolts. They got threads all on the bike on the back here. So you should be able to put a bike rack if you do want to carry some stuff on here. Same with the front. If we come over here, you're gonna notice that you do have these little bolts right here to put a fender on, I believe. You also have these holes right here with bolts already in them, which I'm actually not sure what these would go to. Maybe you can attach something different. And real quick, before we go ride, the last thing I wanted to mention was this cable management. Now, it's not the cleanest cable management I've seen, but I will say I do kind of like this. It is really cheap. This is actually the same stuff I use for my PC wires in the back when I want to clean up all my wires. So basically they just put the wires in a sleeve, but I do like that it has the name brand on there. Which brings me to my next thing. The charger actually has the name on it, which is super, super cool. Most chargers, when you get them, they're just a Chinese branded charger. They don't have any type of label on it. You don't know what charger goes to what bike if you have multiple ones. So now it's cool. I don't need to get my label maker out and put a label on this to let it know that this is for this bike. I already know because the name's on here. And coming to the back really quick, I know you guys are gonna wanna know, it is a 2 amp charger. So it's gonna take a little bit to charge the bike. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like 4 or 5 hours. Now that we got through all that, let's go ride the bike right now. All right, so one thing you guys should know about this bike right off the bat is that it will do 19 to 20 miles per hour without any pedaling whatsoever. Doesn't matter if you're in pedal assist mode 1 to 5, it will do 20 miles per hour. Now, to go faster, you gotta start pedaling. As you start pedaling, you should be able to get to 28 miles per hour. And we shouldn't have to pedal too hard. I'm going a little bit against the wind. If we were going the other way, I think we would get more speed out of it. Right now, we're hitting about 24, 25 miles per hour. Still pretty solid. I do, however, feel like my hands are just slipping off these grips. There's nothing to them. And normally I do wear motorcycle gloves when I'm doing these reviews, but it's so hot today that I just decided, you know, I'm not gonna wear gloves this time around. But it's just slippery. Motorcycle gloves would have made it feel a little tiny bit better, but they're just, I would replace them. I'd definitely replace these grips. And like I said, we got the headlight button, which is gonna come in handy when we ride it at night when I take it to work, which we'll do a test on that if you wanna subscribe to the channel. That'll be in a couple videos down the road. And then move out the way. Anyone hear me? I wonder if that Mercedes heard me. But yeah, so the horn's very nice. I don't think a lot of people are gonna hear you unless you're right next to traffic. But I definitely think on a bike trail or a walking path, I definitely think people are gonna be able to hear you. The display is very nice. I do have the display turned up to 5, which is the max brightness that you can go up to. But it is not the brightest display I've ever seen. It's kind of dim. At nighttime, it should be perfectly fine. It's probably gonna be even too bright at night on the max setting. But during the day with the sun hitting it, I can see it. But if I had bad eyesight and I couldn't see very well, this is not bright enough for the average person, maybe like if you're older or something like that. It's kind of washed out in a way. Now, moving on to the handlebars. Love the handlebars. I love the seating position of this bike, so much better than the Engwe bike that I set on before we did the handlebar mod. This thing doesn't feel like it needs a handlebar mod whatsoever. These bars are a lot wider. I feel more controllable over the bike. I feel like I can kind of just like move it around. Feels very stable. I'll have to show you when we pull over here later that these bars do go up and the seat does go higher. So if you want to sit higher on it or have the bars way up here, you can. I kind of like sitting lower to the center of gravity, and I'm not a very tall person at all. I'm 5'10". Now you can see that you do not need to use the throttle. You can just use all pedal assist if you want. So I'm doing 24, 25 miles an hour without throttle. And if I want to go through these gears really quick, they work perfectly fine. I don't have any issues with the shifting. I like to keep it at 7 just because it feels easier to pedal. I don't like when the pedals move too freely. It feels like I'm ghost pedaling. I'm not a huge fan of that. But if you want it to be easier on your feet and you're not trying to do max speed, then yeah, then you can adjust that however you want. That's just my preference. But right now I want to do a test. Since we're only hitting about 25 right now, let's do a 0 to 25 and let's see how fast it is. And I am in pedal assist 5. I'm going to try to pedal and use the throttle at the same time. 1, 2, 3, go. Come on, you can do it. It hit 20 miles an hour pretty fast. All right, we're running out of road. Yeah, we barely hit 23 miles per hour. I was pedaling pretty hard too. I was getting a workout in. We could try to do that test one more time. 1, 2, 3, go. Go, bike, go. 20 hits quick. I'm gonna try to pedal my ass off. Okay, there we go. 25. Woo, we got to where we wanted to, so I'm happy with that. I'm curious to know how we get to 28 miles per hour. I'm curious to know if there's a setting that you can change so you do not have to use the pedals whatsoever. You just use the throttle and hit 25 to 28 miles per hour. There has to be. I just haven't got into it and figured it out. Well, I'm sure there's someone out there that's done it. Some of us just don't want to pedal, you know what I mean? But just keep in mind, the way the bike comes, if you can't change it for whatever reason, you're limited to 20 and you have to pedal to go faster. All right, so overall, pretty comfortable. I mean, the seat is, I'm not a big fan of the seat. I've only, what do we do, like 2 miles? The seat, I'm not a fan of. I will say that the rear suspension and the front suspension, I don't feel any crazy bumps. We'll take it over here really quick and we'll go up this thing and see how it feels in the dirt. A lot of stuff that I didn't mention. I did say that it did not have hydraulic brakes. It has mechanical brakes back here. Perfectly fine. You got these little caps for shipment. I like keeping them on there. You do have reflectors on the wheels. They're kind of down here. This is a small kickstand. Very, very small. If you notice, the bike sits way over to the side. So you can worry about it not falling over, basically. Some of my e-bikes, they sit almost straight up, and any type of gust of wind or anyone bumps into it, it will fall over. So even though the stand is very short, I like that it leans the bike over a lot more. Other than that, we pretty much went over everything on the bike. I'm gonna get back on it and let's go into this dirt and let's see how it handles there. Here we go. All right, all right. Big pothole. Wow, all right. That took that better than my electric bike company that had front suspension and the seat post suspension. Yeah, this is nice. Now, I'm not gonna be taking a bike like this off-roading all the time, but I gotta show you guys if that's what you guys do, or you gotta go over grass or dirt terrain or whatever ride you gotta do, that it will definitely do it. And I'm telling you guys straight up, this is actually comfortable. There's no complaints. Come on, bike, you can do it. 26. We almost hit 27. And we're holding 26. The one thing that we should test out are the brakes. What should we go off? Should we go off this light post right here? This one? All right, 1, 2, 3. Dang, we're so close to it. Yeah, like I told you guys, you do not need hydraulic brakes on this bike. The mechanicals are perfectly fine. That was a good test right there. Now the bike is still saying that we have 100% battery. I haven't seen that change whatsoever. It does say that we're supposed to get about 40 miles of range out of this bike, but I will tell you guys right now that that's probably on one of the lowest pedal assist modes. Not doing what I'm doing, where I do some high speed riding, where I'm going max speed everywhere. I'm probably gonna get less range than everybody else, but it is kind of good to show that it's still at 100%. I saw 27. Maybe the bike's warming up to me. Perfect cruiser though, guys. The biggest thing I noticed about it is that it's so much smaller than the Engwe bike, and that means it's so much lighter, so it's so much easier to maneuver. So the Engwe bike is like almost 90 pounds. And the problem with that foldable bike is that I'm not very strong, and then it's very awkward once you fold it up to try to grab it all and throw it in your small car, which I have a Fiesta. I feel like this thing, I should be able to pick it up and put it in my car, no worries with dropping it, because it's like 55 pounds or somewhere around there. Very light. You definitely notice the weight. So if you had to actually pedal this, which we should actually try that. Should we just completely turn off all the stuff and pedal it? I say we do that when we get closer to the house. So can I recommend this bike to you guys? Yes. I feel like if you don't want to pedal after 20 miles per hour and you want to use throttle only, I would say no. I feel like if you guys are trying to get your kids into it and they're a little shorter, you're not very tall, this would fit you very good. My coworker Vinny, he's a very short guy. He can't really sit on bikes that are very tall with a seat. And I feel like this is so tiny, but it's still fast enough to get around. The 500 watt motor actually feels like 750 to 1,000 watt, and I'm not kidding. It makes the Engwe Engine Pro, it feels the exact same way. It's just on the Engine Pro, I'm getting a lot more top speed out of it. This, I just feel like it takes off the same because it's so much lighter. But it definitely feels cheaper than some other bikes. But for the most part, it's just gonna get you around where you need to go. That's all you really need out of a bike. If you're not trying to do anything fancy and jump it off stuff and run it into the ground where you don't take care of your bikes, this bike should be perfectly fine. You do hear a little bit of noise from the motor in the back. Perfectly fine. I'm actually hearing more tire than motor, but you do hear the motor a slight bit. Not an inconvenience, not ruining my day, it's not loud. It's nice and pleasing. I do have a full face helmet on though, just so you guys know, but no complaints on that. All right, let's do some stuff. Oh yeah. Dude, that's smooth. Like, yeah, we didn't hit anything crazy, but that was smooth. Going from one street to the other on a curb, not bad. So as I'm making this video right now, this bike is under 1,000. It's $949.99. I would take that extra 50 bucks since it's right under 1,000. I would make it 1,000, and I would change out the grips 100%. You got to change out the grips. They're not great at all. And change out the seat. As I've been riding this bike another 3 miles or 2 miles or so, the seat is not comfortable. So if you guys do want to pick up one of these bikes, like always, I'll have a link in the description and I'll put it on the screen right now so you guys can enter the code on the website and pick one of these up and get a slight discount. Keep in mind, I do get a little bit of commission if you guys do use my discount. I just want to be fair with you guys and let you guys know that. It helps out the channel if you guys do, so I appreciate all you guys. And when we get closer to the house, we are going to see if you can pedal this if the battery dies. All right, so we're on a street that's actually blocked off, so we don't have to worry about anybody. So I'm gonna turn the bike off. The bike is completely off. And this is where this actually might come into play. I am slowing down. I am able to pedal the bike though. You can see that I am moving the bike all on my own. It's doable, but do you really want to pedal this bike? No. There's a lot of resistance with pedaling this bike, but you can do it. But I am going to turn it back on. I am trying to get places faster. Something I wanted to show you guys too when we were out there and I forgot is the fact that you can raise this however much you want, and it does give you height adjustments too to let you know how many inches you're pulling this thing up. I pretty much left mine at the standard, which I probably got to tighten this up a little bit. And then this seat comes way up here. Holy crap, you do not need to sit that high. But yeah, just so you know, you guys have adjustments on that. All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed that ride. I'm pretty sure my hair is all messed up, but great bike though. Can't complain about it. Like I said, the only complaints were the seat doesn't feel comfortable and the handlebar grips, those need to be replaced. But other than that, it's just a smaller version of some of the foldable bikes that I've rode. And if you want a comparison, let me get my Engwe bike out real quick before we end the video. From this angle, you guys should be able to see the massive difference between these two bikes. Both of them fold, both of them do the exact same thing. All we did is put BMX handlebars on this one. I don't feel like you need BMX handlebars for this, like I said, just because the bars are wide already. It's just the bars on this were so short that you need a BMX handlebar. So I don't think you need any modifications to this bike other than the things we already talked about. But look at how big of a difference this is. Let me come from the side and maybe you guys can get a better look on how much taller the other bike is. This feels more like a kid bike and that one feels more like a tank. Now that one does have a bike rack and all that stuff, adds a lot more weight onto it, but this thing is 30 to 35 pounds lighter than that other bike, and you can definitely tell. It does have a smaller motor, but this motor packs a punch because it's so much lighter of a bike. So you feel like you're moving at the exact same speed as the other bike. Now, the components on this bike are slightly cheaper than that one. This isn't really a comparison video, but you're also paying under $1,000 for this bike, whereas that one's about $1,500. So keep that in mind. If you want to get someone into bikes, this is a very good beginner bike or something just to kind of roam them around town with. Probably wouldn't do too much off-road stuff with it, but it is definitely comfortable having both suspension front and back. That's my take on it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace out.